So picture a young child who makes a lemonade stand. And they are learning about entrepreneurship. They're an enterprising young one. And along comes an adult who, in the spirit of helping them out, says, "Oh, tell me why I should buy your lemonade. What's special about yours?" And they can talk about the lemon to sugar ratio that they're using. They can go into kind of what makes it better, what other people thought about their lemonade. And then the adult playfully can say, "Okay, I'll take one." And that is a sale, right? And that's the very basic human fundamental interaction of, let me show you something that I have that I think that you might have too. That is what, at the core, everyone who comes out into the corporate world and says, "I'm going to be a salesperson," it's because they feel that they have that skill. They have the ability to, let's show someone what's possible and sell a product. That is great. Now imagine that same child, and we go to that child and we say, "Okay, now log that transaction in CRM. Make sure that that's loaded into Seismic. Make sure you have that connection to Salesforce. Set up a follow-up meeting. Make sure that you have a calendar appointment for that follow-up meeting in case they have other lemonade needs." Then we're going to take that way further and we're going to say, "Hey, make sure you talk to your managers, fill out a QBR, do all of this other documentation, research the other lemonade competitors." It starts to lose the reason why that child maybe even got involved in lemonade business in the first place. It takes that human element and dilutes it with a lot of what we call drudgery, the standard tasks that our increasingly technological world has distanced us from. So while yes, there still does have to be that core interaction, what we are seeing is the amount of time that sellers are spending on administrative and non-selling duties, researching things, planning, generating proposals, manually entering data, just simply administrative tasks. This is becoming 70% of the job. We don't go into sales. We don't learn these things to spend only 30% of the job doing the part that we love and that we feel our human intellect is best used for. We have the opportunity with the rise of AI to change this. The 79% of people who say that the success expectations and their number of customers continue to increase. Take that same child, give them a line of 20 adults, all asking the same question, and all of these side tasks needing to be done for each and every one of them. It loses the joy, and it loses the why. So today, I want to dive into it. I want to talk about how we can collectively reimagine the sales experience regardless of the product with AI. How we can cut the drudgery, how we can make the data work for us and have it connect together automatically, how we can do the things that sellers feel they are born to do, and then still work on ourselves and continuously evolve. And part of how we view that we can do that, us at Microsoft and Ingram Micro, is using AI. And that is Copilot for Sales. So let's talk today about AI and the advantage that can come with using some type of AI tool to help benefit everybody. The customer, the seller, the business, the security teams, the rest of the folks that build the products. There's a lot of opportunities here, starting with sales. We have done some studies, not only us, but McKinsey, Bain and Company, and many others that you see sourced below. We got lots of little numbered asterisks here on this slide with all of this rich data. And what we have been finding is that 29% of sales time can actually be automated. The things that we are clicking around with our mouse trackpad while on the train to do, that doesn't need to be done. AI can automate it. 3 to 5% lift in productivity. This is not much of a surprise. 99% of sellers say that they would reinvest time saved from AI into other work-related tasks, but perhaps ones that they are more passionate about or that they are better at. 50% jump in lead to sale conversion rate when rolling out AI as a part of the sales process. It has been really game-changing for so many different marketers out there. We're seeing an uplift for those who invest in AI compared to those that do not. And a variable amount, 3 to 15% of an uplift with those organizations compared to the ones that don't. twice the lift in cross-selling and upselling rate. And some of this is due to AI bringing insightful information right to the eyes of the seller in the moment so that they can make that call. But also some of this is just saving some brain space, some mental capacity for the seller to do their job most effectively. So our AI solution at Microsoft, what we have across multiple products, is called Microsoft Copilot. You've probably heard of it. This is using this recent revolution in AI, large language models, some of the same underlying technology that powers things like ChatGPT that you've heard about, grounding this with knowledge from the web, protecting commercial data, and much more. Copilot is available for free to a lot of users out there, and these 4 things are some of the basis of that Copilot experience. We then take that further. Now this one is a paid license, but this is Copilot for Microsoft 365. This takes those same benefits that we had before, but then now adds to this picture the entire context of that organization in the Microsoft Cloud through something called the Microsoft Graph. This is that digital identity of the whole organization. Every email, every Teams message, every document, every calendar appointment that user at that organization has ever had in their entire history of this organization, right here inside of the graph, immediately available at their fingertips with insights and information from AI. We put that capability into the apps that people use every day: Outlook, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, OneNote, and beyond. Protect it with enterprise-grade protection and give customers the opportunity to customize it with Copilot Studio. But what we're talking about today combines all of this. It is Copilot for Microsoft 365. It is the base Copilot, but then it is connecting in a deep, integrated way to the CRM platform that they are required to use. So for some customers, that's our own platform, Microsoft Dynamics 365 Sales. But for a lot of other customers out there, that is Salesforce Sales Cloud, and integrating with a suite of other tools that help to augment that experience. It is taking AI and putting it into this CRM that can really light up some things and make stuff easier for our sellers so that they can do the part of their job that they are most valuable in. So let's give you a couple of examples of how this works. We find ourselves here in a recap of a Teams meeting. This is a meeting that occurred, and there are some things that you're probably used to seeing. Okay, there was some attachments to this file, that sort of thing. I can see the recap generated by AI, who said what, a transcript of the conversation. But inside of this view, I have the immediate opportunity to create CRM tasks from this meeting. I have the ability to update that opportunity stage right here in the recap from the meeting. I didn't need to go to some other portal, log in, look up the customer, search, find 4 different instances of the exact same customer because the CRM is dirty. You know what I'm talking about. And then I come in here. This is just takes the guesswork out of it. AI can help. It can see our conversion rate. It can create a pitch presentation based off of a document. I can see the talk to listen ratio of the different people within that organization. And I can do much, much more, drafting a proposal, reviewing chart data, and more. All of this when it is all connected and it works together. This is me just giving you a little bit of a preview, but I have a brief video that explains this in even more detail. It's really cool, and I'll see you on the other side. Take a look.
Microsoft Copilot for Sales is your AI assistant in Microsoft 365 that makes selling easy. Spend less time on mundane tasks and more time closing deals with AI you can trust. Microsoft Copilot for Sales connects to Salesforce Sales Cloud and Microsoft Dynamics 365 Sales to bring CRM insights and next-generation AI across productivity workflows. In Microsoft Outlook, Copilot summarizes email threads, saving you time and effort managing your inbox. Copilot also helps you respond to customer emails, extracting relevant sales data from your CRM platform, such as product names, units, and prices. This saves you from having to manually search for the information you need. You can save emails to your CRM platform with a few clicks, effortlessly tracking your customer interactions for your team and manager. Copilot for Sales also lets you update contact, opportunity, and account details, which sync automatically to your CRM platform. When collaborating with colleagues on a deal, you can quickly surface and share contact details in a Teams chat. Or bring people together in a deal room to work together and progress the deal forward. When it's time to meet with the customer, Copilot provides a summary of past meetings and emails in Teams, as well as real-time sales tips, competitor information, and suggested answers to questions during the meeting. After the meeting, Copilot summarizes your discussion and provides an analysis of your call and recommended tasks, keeping your team informed and your customers engaged. Microsoft Copilot for Sales brings sales data, insights, and recommendations into the flow of work to transform the way sellers sell. Try Sales Copilot today and see the difference for yourself.
Those are some of the examples of exactly what we're talking about. How this can really change the game for sellers, give them a new tool. And some of that capability, yes, we've had CRM for a while, but the integrated nature of some of that is entirely new and is entirely possible because we find ourselves now with Copilot, with AI that is able to do it and that is able to work across different CRM platforms. You see both Salesforce and Microsoft Dynamics 365 Sales are present and available for customers to use. And whichever one of these two you use, it's completely in sync. You can see the two different examples here on the page, updating it, providing live information in the call. So I want to look at this from a couple of different perspectives. We're going to talk about the seller themselves. We're going to talk about the sales manager, as well as sales operations, and how AI can help totally across the board here. So real fast, before we dive into each one of these, let's talk about how it's helped these people. So some of the early evidence of the success, we have performed both our own studies as well as studies conducted by others as to how Copilot for Sales is benefiting people. Here's a quote from NetLogic. Implementing Copilot for Sales has saved time, improved skills, contributed to a better work-life balance, and increased our revenue by 25% in 1 quarter. There are very few things that a company can purchase that would give them those types of results when used appropriately and when adopted by their team. That's exciting. That's one customer. Taking this even further, of those sellers who used it, 83% say that Copilot for Sales made them more productive. About 80%, 79%, said that Copilot saves and reduces the amount of admin work. 78% saying it helps them stay, oh my gosh, this is so important, in the flow of work. When we're disrupted and we're no longer in that flow, especially as a seller, that can be very difficult to get back into that flow, and especially before your 2 o'clock meeting. So seeing this is really huge. Saving 30 minutes per customer email or customer meeting because of these meeting summaries and email generating features is going to save the company money, yes, but it's going to save the seller mind share. When we talk about work-life balance, we think about this stuff even after we leave work. Having that done, having that email sent, and I didn't need to spend 3 hours crafting it, that's excessive. People don't usually spend that long, but you get the idea. So seller productivity, starting first with our seller, is going to be really transformed. We are able to get access to immediately our CRM records inside of Outlook and inside of Teams without having to go to a whole other application in order to update it. Copilot can generate these summaries, provide these types of risk assessments, take an entire email thread that was super long and summarize it into 3 simple bullet points, and make personalized content very simply and very easily. You see another example of that here. Copilot for Sales usually presents itself as a side column like this. You can see this is what you're normally used to interacting with. You just see Outlook. But over here, oh, well, there was an opportunity opened in June 6th. This is expected to close this date. This person's the primary contact. The budget for this opportunity is this. And it goes into the latest activity from not only you, but other people, all in this one little side column as you're just opening this in Outlook. Really, really useful. Take that further when we have a document. We can simply start that blinking cursor syndrome that none of us love, where we're trying to think, okay, what am I going to say? This can help. And you can have Copilot reference existing material. So help me prepare for this pitch meeting. with the Relic Cloud people based on this value proposition. And then from there, you can use that to generate that document and that response. Also, from the lens of the seller here, this is drafting an email reply. Now, this is where we get a little bit more dicey. We want to make sure that we're not removing the seller's skill from it. This is to get a draft. And that's why we specifically refer to it as draft with Copilot. No one should ever develop a process of sending an email written by AI without reviewing it first and without making thoughtful changes. There is something human about the sales process, and especially in the emails that we write, but some emails are just the same thing that I send at the end of every call that summarizes what we talked about, and then I add a little bit of flair. This is able to do it in a much more personalized way, backed by data in the organization, backed by data in CRM, so that they have a starting off point, and then they can customize it further. Here in this example, we just wanted to reach out and say we're super excited that our eco-friendly coffee options are aligning with you. We'd love to schedule a meeting tomorrow at 10 to see how we can do this. Let me know. Look forward to hearing from you. This email would have been typed manually or copied and pasted from some form, and then the fields manually changed. All of that, yeah, is good. It worked for a while, but this is generating something very relevant. So I don't need to make as many changes. I can be quicker about it. It's happening here immediately in my view inside of Outlook. We like to see it. Taking this even further. So I'm in that meeting now. I'm in that conversation. There was a competitor that was mentioned by name. Uh-oh. Alberto mentioned those folks over at Prosware. Ugh. So I don't know much about Prosware because they are not our amazing solution. They're a competitor. But Copilot does, because it's grounded in the web. It has access to search online. It can find out information about the things that are just simply mentioned in casual speech in the middle of a meeting, aiding that seller to feel even more prepared, even more ready for what they are bringing to the table. So you can see here it shows, oh, the strengths of Prosware is premium products, trusted name, good support. But they are not very flexible. They have a long delivery time, and they don't cover the whole world. So let's lean in on that. Oh, we really value the flexibility that we're able to bring to our customers and the quick delivery times that we can provide to your business, allowing you to help with that sale. And with this competitive example that was mentioned by the customer in the call, live via Copilot right on the side of the meeting. Love that. Once the meeting is over, I already mentioned this earlier, you can create those tasks. I can see the talk to listen ratios of how much each person spoke in a meeting. This is really key. Salespeople, we love to hear ourselves talk. Oh, it's glorious. Yes, I have a wonderful voice. Let's talk, right? But we need to balance the conversation. We want to make sure that A, all the people from our team are speaking, first of all, in the meeting, and B, that they are more equally speaking if they have things to contribute. And that also that we are listening, that we're listening to the customer, allowing them to speak. Let's finally quantize this with data. We can actually see from our org, this is the talk to listen ratio. This is the average pause for that person to get talking. Outside of our org, here's these different people. Their monologue, the longest monologue. Ina here likes to talk, 27 seconds uninterrupted. So we can get this interesting data that we didn't used to have with a Skype for Business meeting or a Link meeting back in the day. Nothing bad about those products, but now with Teams plus Copilot for Sales and Copilot for Service, we are able to see some really rich information. Let's switch gears. Let's talk about the sales manager. So that was all the seller. Here are some tools that can help the sales manager, the person who used to do sales and then promoted into mo money, mo problems. So let's talk about how we can help them a little bit too. So here we see a account team in Microsoft Teams. Every time I say Teams, let's keep moving on. So a couple of things that, too far, that this can help them with is making sure that they can have that assistance and that connection to CRM wherever they're using Copilot. So if they're using Copilot inside of OneNote and Loop to create plans, generate ideas, they have that as well. And they can ask those macro level questions. Let's talk about the KPIs. Is my team meeting those KPIs? Copilot can actually answer that quite directly based off of what has been added into CRM and what it is known to Copilot for Sales and the metrics that is known to Copilot, and provide that type of very quick report that the sales manager may have asked someone else to create. Again, not using too much of their intellectual capability to just simply take data and transfer it into a different format. Asking Copilot to do that and have it work smoother is always great. Then we also have sales ops, another role inside of this. And how can they see this? How can they help from an operations standpoint? There is the ability to customize Copilot experiences, to create bespoke Copilot chatbots that are equipped for a singular function. Hey, I'm the proposal writing bot. I know all of the ways that our Contoso Corporation likes to write proposals, and so ask me to write a proposal, I'll do it. Now, Copilot will still do that without having a special bot for it, but the company can take that further and customize it and tweak it so that it is presenting information exactly as it aligns to the company's expectations. They can create skills for Copilot for Sales, plugins for Copilot for Sales. They can add additional fields into those sales skills for more. So you can see here, this is using an integration, a preview integration with DocuSign. So Alberto and Tony signed the contract. Yes, finally, we don't care about those prosware people. Alberto decided to go with us. And so now we can send off that contract immediately. Here's the recipients, here's the sender. It was signed, source, DocuSign, but brought to you by, the information being surfaced to you by Copilot for Sales. So that can really help with the sales ops side of things. Microsoft Copilot is here to help in a wide array. We've focused a lot on sales today because it has a great opportunity to transform. But we have multiple Copilots. As you see here, the core of this is Copilot for Microsoft 365. People who are not in a sales or service position, the vast populace of people that work for businesses that have Microsoft 365, they're going to get benefit out of Copilot for Microsoft 365 because it's connected to the data that they need. Information workers love it. Then there's Copilot for Sales and Copilot for Service. And so these two different elements here, we've talked a lot about how Copilot for Sales can really help. Let's chat briefly about Copilot for Service. This is not just for salespeople. We also want to really change the workflow and enhance the lives, working lives at least, of customer service agents. Using Copilot to analyze CRM data, look at past cases. Okay, so yeah, the seller did their job, they sold, and now this person's supporting that product, and they can look back and see the concerns that were expressed. And they don't have to go digging through reports. The customer service person can ask Copilot for Service, what concerns has this customer raised in the past? And based off of information that they have access to, very important, it can bring up that information. Say, oh, they initially expressed concern about this very thing that they're talking to you about. So that's some nice insights and intellectual data that they can have inside of this. Summarizing emails, of course. Inside of meetings, they have that same ability to gather and get recaps and information, but they could also just ask Copilot questions from knowledge bases and from information systems that it's connected to. And yes, just get information from Copilot for Service inside of the agent console. So this connects very nicely with our own services, but of course, this works very well with Salesforce, with ServiceNow, with Zendesk. So whatever platform that customer has decided to stand with, as it relates to those three, Copilot for Service can really help those customer service agents realize these things even better. So what does a day in the life look like? I'm going to give you a couple of examples. So this is about Copilot for Microsoft 365. This is not sales, not service. So what are some of the things that anyone equipped with a Copilot for Microsoft 365 license can do? Yes, they can summarize emails and Teams chats. They can draft emails. Show me all of the data insights from this Excel file, and it will look through it and find insights in it. Make a pitch deck using this document, and it'll use the company's standard brand template in order to do that. Show me all the questions that were asked inside of this Teams meeting. Okay, summarize that meeting, show me follow-up actions. These are things that are useful to most anyone in a modern organization. When we modify this with Copilot for sales, this is where this kind of goes in a different direction. Yes, I can still summarize emails, I can still draft an email, but let's pursue the opportunity. Let's change it. Let's say, okay, view the opportunity summary from Salesforce, update the opportunity details, sync it to Salesforce. Then let's write an email to Contoso, let's give them the product details from Salesforce, and let's propose a meeting. And Copilot can help do all of those things. We'll use that same Excel file as before, but now when we prepare, create a sales meeting preparation brief and also create that pitch deck for me. We're having a call with the customer. Show me sales tips and related information about competitors that are mentioned during the call. Let's do a recap meeting. Let's have a post summary to the deal room so that all of the account team stays in the know. One less thing that I'm going to have to do after I interact with that customer and do the thing that I'm most passionate about. Less paperwork, less documents at the end is going to be beneficial for so many people. I want to dive a little bit into Outlook. So inside of Outlook, this is arguably the app that people use most, whether they like it or not. And there is a lot of opportunity to take Outlook and really make it more useful with the new Outlook and with the inclusion of Copilot. Let me dissect a couple of things that we're looking at here. I like the summary feature. It's a long email thread, and you're filling in for someone who had the week off, and now you're trying to get up to speed as to what was going on. Okay, well, Alberto, the manager of this, is writing to ask about coffee machines. He requested more information. A budget of $12,000 was mentioned. So if you missed that note that you were manually taking on the side during the meeting, which you no longer really have to do, this will catch it for you because it's using the transcript as long as you've gotten permission to record the meeting. A key function of this. None of this works without recording the meeting and generating a transcript. That's a new habit and pattern to develop. I'm talking about Outlook though, so I'll keep it focused. This is from the email thread, not a meeting, but good to see that it can bring up that information. And it'll even suggest next steps and an immediate link to Open CRM, or Open Sales, I should say. Over here on the side, sales-specific information about the customer that is generated from CRM. Links to recent deals and other information, which you can click upon with immediate effect. Sales guidance around the next steps. Okay, they said 12 grand, so let's update the opportunity to 12 grand. They said, okay, the timing wasn't really mentioned, but you know what, let's update that to August 23rd or August 20th. Great. Here's the leads, here's the contacts at this place that we are looking at. Related CRM records, a key part of it. Now let's write the email. So when we go to draft it, you'll see this Draft with Copilot button appear. And if you don't, right down here, Copilot for Sales, the ability to change which Copilot you're talking to. So Copilot for Microsoft 365 or Copilot for Sales. Hey, let's make a proposal or let's request more details or whatever your heart desires. So you're talking to Copilot when you ask it to draft something. So look at this. I will say to Copilot, greet Alberto. Make sure to include how much a valued customer he is and answer his questions and suggest a follow-up. It's as if you were talking to an assistant, and that's kind of the goal. It's a Copilot that's there to help you. Draft an email. We need to get back to Alberto and we need to let him know that his questions are answered and follow up with him. Thanks, I'm out to lunch. that old trope, right? But I mean, it is really, really helping in this way using this type of intelligence and sales insights like BANT, budget, authority, needs, timing, and understanding these concepts and working with it. So when the time comes to prep for that meeting and generate a Word document, you could also use that same Copilot in order to help with this. Help me prep for this meeting, and it's this meeting that happened in the past that we're talking about. And so then it will create all of this, and it's not even done. It's still working on it, as you can see at the bottom. And all of this comes in ready for your review. If it's just a visual aid for your team to use, then perhaps there's even less review. It's just let's see what Copilot had to say, which is really nice. When we take this into a Teams meeting, as you saw in that video, as you can see some of these things, this is where you can generate very quick and you could follow up and ask follow-up questions. Here's my opportunity summary. Here's that real-time brand competitor and distinction between them. In this instance, Prosware has now split off and started making sodas, but you can get the idea. Teams meeting recap, a huge place where this is prevalent. Copilot button transforms into sales button, where you can create those tasks as we mentioned before and see much more. So I'm talking about all this in the abstract, and we're using fictitious organizations. But to conclude, I want to give you a couple of examples of how Copilot for Sales has been used with our actual customers and what they had to say about it. I want to start with NetLogic. So they're a manufacturing customer here in the United States. They have a variety of our services: Azure, Dynamics 365 Sales, and of course, Copilot for Sales. And so this is what they had to say. Oh, and actually, you know what? This is, I think, that same quote from earlier, so I won't read it again. Increased revenue by 25%. Huge. So let's learn more about what underpins that. They use this to generate meeting summaries, primarily, inside of the sales calls in Outlook. They share their notes to CRM. The impact is that it has standardized notes across the sales team. We don't have Susan who likes a pad of paper and Bill who uses the older version of OneNote, but then Sandra who uses the newer OneNote, and then someone else uses Notepad, right? There's a variety of ways that people could take notes. This helps to give a little bit more consistency, keep it logged, keep it a part of the meetings, shared with everyone automatically, really huge. Another customer that we've worked with, Avanade. So they're professional partner services, also in the US. They use Dynamics. They also use Copilot for Sales, Teams, and Outlook. When our sellers can reduce the time spent on sifting through multiple channels to find what matters with Copilot for Sales, we can be more focused so that we can deliver with clients and drive our business strategy faster. Yeah, from a business standpoint, there's a huge focus on speed because it does help people be fast. But when people are faster, they can spend more time either on their daily lives because their work-life balance has been out of whack for years and this tool finally has transformed it for them. Or this tool has freed up time in their day so that they can focus more on the things that they get the most benefit out of. And so what are they seeing? They're seeing that there is tangible time savings. 30 to 60 minutes a week saved with this email summary feature because there are a lot of incoming emails at Avanade and they want to stay up to speed. The sales leads are noticing more valuable information about their opportunities than they have before, according to Avanade. They use this to, yes, update their CRM records and even draft emails, and have seen some really great success with it. All right, so how can we get this into the hands of your customers? Obviously, you're here watching this because there is an opportunity for you to sell this, sell the seller the sales tool. It's all very sales. Let's talk about licensing. There is a couple of key ways that Copilot is licensed. I'm going to show you an array of Copilots. As I mentioned before, there's the free one. It's at copilot.microsoft.com, available to anybody. When we use Copilot for Microsoft 365, which is typically that $30 per user per month cost, that is where we get access to a lot of features. But these role-specific capabilities that we can find with Copilot for Sales and Copilot for Service, I kind of do not like this graphic because it shows it as just one additional bullet, but really it is game-changing capabilities that it adds. So yes, the price does jump. It goes from $30 per user per month to $50 per user per month. One thing I will also note is that there is no monthly billing for Copilot. It is the entire year due upfront all at once. We show it in this monthly cost from a just ease of visibility standpoint and sales, but it is that full year upfront, so it is an investment, and it's not, you can't end it prematurely and get a prorated refund. It's just, that is how much it costs. And it's game changing, people have liked it, but we want to make sure that customers are ready for it and that they understand everything that goes into it. So when we think about what are these differences, let's go further. These are some other licenses. So now we're drilling into Copilot for Sales here. What you get is that Copilot experiences in Outlook. You get the Teams experiences, Microsoft 365, all the stuff that we love about Copilot for Microsoft 365, that's included in this. Advanced experiences in Outlook and Teams that are specific to sales. And these experiences that are related to sales, referencing the access data that you have coming, well, actually should already be here after February 2024, across the different apps that you interact with. There are some other product examples. So when we think about Dynamics 365 Sales Premium, that includes some of these items. If they purchased this already and then they add in Copilot for Microsoft 365, then they could have that full stack. But Copilot for Sales could be an easier way to get there because Copilot for Sales includes Copilot for Microsoft 365. There's also another license, Dynamic 365 Sales Enterprise, a little bit of a lower price there, that does not have this advanced SFA feature, so predictive scoring, relationship analytics, forecasting, that sort of thing. You do not need to have any dynamics at all in order to use Copilot for Sales. If you're a Salesforce person, or that's just not the standard that the customer's organization has, Copilot for Sales can still add some great benefit. But if they do choose to go with Dynamics 365, Copilot for Sales is a natural attachment to it. And I'll leave it to you and your own sales skills to talk about this even further with customers. So, there is a lot to unpack. There's a lot to learn. There's a lot of changing possibilities that Copilot for Sales and Copilot for Service can bring into this world that we're in. But at the core of it all, what AI is here to do is to help humans have a better life. That's what we want to mold it into. And for sellers, it is about getting back to the core of what got sellers into this in the first place. A lot of you watching me are probably a seller yourself. And I want to lean more on the let's show someone what our product can do. Let's talk about why our lemonade is the best and have that happy joy that that child first experienced when they made their very first sale, as opposed to updating CRM and notes and all of those administrative tasks. Let's get back to the core of what makes sales sales and why people get into it in the first place. And with Copilot for Sales and Copilot for Service, we finally have an opportunity to do just that. Thank you.